Hello, welcome to Food Immerse, a channel where we not only teach you how to cook delicious dishes, but immerse ourselves in the history, culture, science, and beauty of food. I'm Lorraine, and I'm so excited for you to join me on this journey, exploring different cuisines, ingredients, and cooking techniques. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single delicious episode. French onion puffs. Caramelized onions, Gruyere cheese, and puff pastry combine all the flavors of French onion soup in a hot pastry that you can pick up and eat. The intense flavor of these puffs comes from the slow caramelization of onions, a step that can be done up to 2 days ahead. The puffs can be rolled, cut, and pressed up to the night before baking, making them easy to heat and serve on the day of your gathering. Okay, let's get cooking. To make French onion puffs, you will need 2 medium onions, 3 tablespoons butter, 1 large sprig of thyme, 1 bay leaf, 1 tablespoon dry red wine. If you're going to make our paired Francophile wine toddy, use Rioja here. Other acceptable substitutes for Rioja are Pinot Noir, Cabernet Sauvignon, or Tempranillo. 1 teaspoon balsamic vinegar, a half teaspoon kosher salt, freshly ground black pepper, 1 sheet of frozen puff pastry thawed overnight in the refrigerator. If you are going to make the pastries the day before you bake and serve them, then make sure you move the puff pastry to the refrigerator 2 nights before. 4 ounces Gruyere cheese grated, 1 large egg, and 2 teaspoons of water. The special equipment you will need are 2 sheet pans lined with either silpat mats or parchment paper, 1 large cutting board, 1 rolling pin, and 1 small bowl of flour for dusting, and 1 pastry brush. Start by cutting the ends off the onions, cutting it in half through the root, and then peeling both halves. Place the onion halves flat side down and cut into thin slices. Place a large non-stick skillet over medium-low heat. Add the butter. When butter is melted, add all of the onion. Add the bay leaf and the thyme sprig and stir into the onion. Continue cooking, stirring frequently until onions are deep golden brown. This will take approximately 30 to 35 minutes. Add the 1 tablespoon red wine and stir until liquid evaporates, about 1 minute. Turn off the heat. Remove the bay leaf and the thyme sprig. I like to scrape some of the thyme leaves into the onion as I remove it. Finally, stir in the balsamic vinegar, the kosher salt, and some grinds of fresh black pepper. Taste for salt and pepper. The onions can be cooled, covered, and refrigerated for up to 2 days. To start the pastry, flour a large board. Also flour a rolling pin. Unroll the puff pastry and discard the paper. The starting size is 8 by 8.5 inches. Lightly flour the top and then gently roll out to a size of 9 by 11 inches. The dimensions are important to the successful rolling of this pastry, so be sure to measure. Use a bench scraper to straighten up the sides. Spread a little flour on top. Fold the long side over in half and make a small mark at the fold. Unfold and cut pastry sheet in half lengthwise. Distribute grated cheese evenly over each sheet. Push cheese back from the edges, creating about a 1-inch border on each sheet. Distribute the onion mixture evenly over the top of the cheese. Flatten mixture down with a fork. Pick up edges of pastry sheet and carefully roll over the filling and away from you. Use your fingers to keep the filling tucked in as you roll. Roll the second sheet. Make sure the filling is tucked in and press to close the seam. Pinch the ends closed. Place the rolls on a sheet pan lined with a silpat mat or parchment paper. Refrigerate for 15 minutes. Cover your cutting board and a serrated knife with flour. Score a couple half-inch marks to use as a guide, then cut roll into 1/2-inch slices. If the knife starts sticking, just add more flour. Lay pieces out flat. Flour the bottom of a smooth, flat spatula and press each slice down to a 1/4 inch thickness. Spread pieces back out on silpat or parchment. Pinch seam on each piece so they don't break open while baking. At this point, you can refrigerate puffs from 15 minutes to as long as overnight. Cover with plastic wrap if longer than 15 minutes. When ready to bake, preheat oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Remove plastic wrap. Mix the 1 egg with the 2 teaspoons of water and brush over the top of the puffs. Bake in preheated oven until puffed and golden brown. This will take about 12 to 14 minutes. Serve warm. Francophile. If you're not a fan of mulled wine due to the often heavy spicing, you need to try this variation. It was created by Alex Day of Proprietors LLC, and I found it on liquor.com. The only spice in this version is cinnamon, in the form of cinnamon simple syrup that is very easy to make at home and keeps in the fridge for weeks. It requires a medium to full-bodied wine like Rioja, Cabernet, or Pinot to provide proper balance. It includes Calvados, the French brandy made from apples, along with lemon juice and some water. You can mix up a large batch ahead of time and have it heated on the stove ready for your guests, making this the perfect hot beverage for a festive party. A mulled wine is the perfect pairing for our French onion puffs. A tablespoon of the same wine is used in the caramelized onion filling. To make 4 servings of the Francophile, you will need 3/4 cup Rioja red wine or other medium to full-bodied wine like Cabernet or Pinot Noir, a 1/2 cup of Calvados, 1.5 cups of water, a 1/4 cup cinnamon simple syrup, directions follow in this video, 1 ounce lemon juice, 4 red apple slices for garnish, and 4 cinnamon sticks for garnish. To make 1 cup of the cinnamon simple syrup, you will need 1 cup of water, 1 cup of sugar, and 3 cinnamon sticks. To make the simple syrup, place sugar and water in a saucepan and place over medium heat. Cinnamon sticks are too hard to break with your hands, so place them on a clean towel, fold the other side of the towel over the top, and use a hammer or a small skillet to break them up into pieces. You can break any large remaining pieces with your hands at this point. When the sugar and water mixture is simmering, stir to dissolve the sugar and then turn off the heat. Add the crushed cinnamon sticks, give them a stir, cover, and allow to steep for at least 6 hours, up to overnight. After steeping is done, strain simple syrup into a jar or a squeeze bottle. The covered simple syrup will keep in the fridge for up to 4 weeks. To make the Francophile, into a saucepan, pour the wine, the Calvados, the water, the lemon juice, and the cinnamon simple syrup. Stir to combine and heat until steaming, but do not boil. Cut wedges from the apple for garnish. Make a small diagonal cut for hanging over the rim of the mug. Ladle hot wine mixture into a mug. Garnish with apple wedge and cinnamon stick and enjoy. Thank you so much for joining Food Immerse and exploring different cuisines, ingredients, and cooking techniques. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe so you don't miss a single delicious episode. If you make this dish, I would love to hear about it in the comments or shoot me an email. Until next time, cheers to good food.